So this is going to be another like-dislike video. This one's going to be a very short one, and just briefly, go into why I'm doing this. There are various comic book writers, Alan Moore, Frank Miller, Dave Sim, who's the subject of this video. They start off small. Frank Miller started off with Daredevil. Alan Moore got his claim to fame with Swamp Thing, and as we all know, Dave Sim started off with Cerebus. As years progress, they share their views more, and they feel that they can comment on society. But sometimes their viewpoints give one pause for thought, and not really as interesting or as good as first I may have seemed. And sometimes you kind of wonder why they feel they're allowed to do this just because they've gotten a claim to fame, And that's kind of the basis of this video, and this is a good example of this. I give kudos to Sim for really capitalizing on independent comics. Cerebus started as this very amusing parody of Conan the Barbarian. In early one, in fact, he draws a character who is obviously Conan as Barry Windsor Smith drew Conan, and this character, who's never named, dies in front of Cerebus. And there's, of course, Red Sophia, who's of course not so thinly veiled stab at Red Sonja, and just other things, just these very amusing stabs at Conan, but then he starts to make stabs at other comic book characters. There's one in particular who is he uses this character to make fun of a lot of comic book characters. First it starts out with Batman, then it's Sandman, and then it's Secret Wars, and various other things. I can't remember the name of the character off the top of my head. Roach something or other. I'll look it up, and I'll put it in the description, whatever. But anyways, and then there's a character who always talks like Foghorn Leghorn. 10-mile races long, whatever, that type of mode of speech. He has a character that's obviously Groucho Marx, and sort of his version of that character. And, it just, what started off as a small parody, he kind of gets out of control, and then he starts to feel he can comment on society and religion, and it loses touch with what he started off with. First he starts off commenting on society, then religion, and so on. And it just, I don't really much care for his views, quite frankly. They're not very interesting, and the comic loses interest, to me, anyways. So it lost touch for me. And I'm going to reference a Spawn issue he did, which, by the way, has never been reprinted for various reasons, where Spawn is taken to a special part in the underworld, which is obviously for comic book characters and their creators. Basically saying that comic book creators have lost touch with their creations, but Spawn's creator has not lost touch with him. And the reason because of this is because of money. But the thing is, and this is actually relevant to today because Superman creators and whatnot are sort of suing and whatnot. At the time period when they created Superman, comics were not what they are now. So they had no idea what they were signing away to. And, so this is one of them knowingly giving away a franchise, and yes, there are things that make money off Batman, Superman, whatever. But you know what? Todd McFarlane does the same thing. He just doesn't want anybody else making money off his product. He wants to be the only one making money off his products. So he's just as much of a product of greed as anything else. You know, he's made not just the comics, short-lived animated series, an awful movie, and, you know, he's done, and toys, and other things where he's making money off of it. That's a franchise that basically he's controlling. So this commentary of his, this message of his, is lost to me because of that. So again, anyways, you know, this is just a short one, and I've only read a little bit of his. You know, it started off as interesting, but he really lost touch when he decided he felt he'd comment on everything when he really doesn't know a lot. So, anyways, that's this short like-dislike one. I'm gonna upload, one soon about Alan Moore. That'll be much more likely.